fight's not over.
Stop the fight!
People.
Everybody, I come here for everybody. Kill everybody. I'm the champ. I'm the king. Kill everybody. Ah!
All right, guys, welcome back to Broke Bets. Lane here with you. Got my co-host with me, Carson. What's up?
Yo, yo, yo. We're in the Sphere this weekend.
The undersold Sphere event.
Yeah, with 10 fights.
Yeah.
With all Mexicans taking place in U.S. for some reason.
They always make that error. Anyway, coming off of UFC 97, winning bet card for us. Check that those bets out at the end of the video, and of course check out the Patreon. But here we are, first fight, the prospect. We got Raul Rosas Jr. versus Aoriqileng. You got to go with Raul Rosas Jr. here. At, again, 20 years old or whatever, the grappling's good. Aoriqileng does have like somewhat good power that could be a little bit scary in a matchup like this, but the pace and the grappling that Rosas can do to get to the back and take control positions, I think is going to be very dominant early, and I think we're going to see a submission in round one. Thoughts?
Yeah, he's very physically strong, Rosas Jr. And he goes for those takedowns. He knows what he's good at, and that's securing those takedowns and winning minutes on the mat. So I expect him to do that here in front of the Mexican crowd, and maybe we'll get a chee-wee-wee in the post-fight speech.
Definitely feels like a forced trying to create a catchphrase, but that's all right. I won't try to cook him too much for that one. Not as catchy in my opinion. Aoriqileng did have success stopping a lot of takedowns versus Johnny Munoz Jr., but he's kind of a guard puller, butt scooter type versus Rosas will actually push you up against the fence, force the back takes, and yeah, I mean, he did almost get submitted himself by Tercios, but that chin, dude, that chin blocks his whole neck from being able to get choked, so, yeah, the chee-wee-wees, as you say. I think he wins. A little bit oversized favorite, as always, but that's what you're going to get with this guy every time he fights, so. Any more thoughts?
No. Huge favorite, I think, like minus 700, but, yeah, I mean, rightfully so, the favorite, and I think this is a setup match for him.
Yeah. All right. Rosas Jr., submission, round one. Okay, for the next fight, we have Edgar Chairez versus Joshua Van. Going with Joshua Van here, you know, he's coming off of a loss versus Charles Johnson, but he was leading 2 rounds in that fight, it seemed like, and, you know, second round a little bit closer, but I do feel like Edgar Chairez will struggle a little bit with the boxing in this fight to keep up with Joshua Van and Joshua Van's pressure on him. It'd be an interesting fight, you know, Chairez probably have a good chin here, take a lot of the big shots, but a good scrappy back and forth one. Chairez also, I would assume, will be attempting takedowns to try to slow Van down, but Van does have a pretty good get-up game and just overall, you know, stance on the feet to defend takedowns. So I'm going to say Van by decision.
Yeah, it's a really interesting fight. Chairez does have a 7-inch reach advantage, so maybe he's able to play at range a little bit more, but yeah, I think Van's boxing will be too much. I think he's probably one of the better flyweight, just pure boxers. He's really quick, throws a lot of straight punches, works the body as well too, has good pace and pressure as well. So he is coming in on like 2 weeks short notice here. So, and he was knocked out 2 months ago. So I don't love that for him, but I will stick with him here. I think he'll have the bigger moments and stop those takedowns. He does have a decent takedown defense.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you too. Like, why is a 22-year-old coming off a knockout doing a quick turnaround for a fight? I know it's a big pay-per-view and all that, but like, it feels like a rush to do that. It's like a little bit of a Volkanovski type thing to do. I don't know. Not a great idea, but I think that it's a little bit. It's obviously like less risky than how Volk faced Topuria or whatever. So, anyway, any more thoughts here?
No.
All right, Van by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Yazmin versus Ketlen Souza. Easy pick here in my eyes. I know she's a minus 550. I'm actually surprised she's not higher than this. Yazmin is just a good prospect. She got knocked out by Denise Gomes really easily. Again, that's a power puncher. I feel like Ketlen Souza doesn't bring that same power, cardio, or a lot of these elements of grappling to a fight like this. I'm going to take Jauregui, actually by submission. I feel like just seeing Souza, how fast she could kind of get submitted by Karine Silva, who's definitely dangerous on the ground. Just seeing how fast that all could turn around, I think that Yazmin Jauregui's going to attack that grappling and possibly find her moments to find the submission, like via back take or armbar or something that could possibly show up there. Not too impressed with Souza. Just not the fastest fighter. Takedown defense was bad. Easy to call it when that Karine Silva fight. Remember, I picked Silva by finish, and it was a great bet at the time. So, thoughts?
Yeah, is this your lock of the week? I know we cashed last week with Isaac Delgarian.
Yes. This and Raul Rosas Jr.
Yeah, I think Raul Rosas has got that one too. So, Yazmin, she's still only 25 years old. She's really young. Obviously got KO'd by Denise Gomes, but Souza doesn't have that same power that Gomes brings in this women's division. So, Jauregui's really well-rounded in the boxing. She throws a lot of volumes, got pretty good cardio as well too, and has a decent ground game. 0 submissions, so you calling a submission is bold, and maybe we see a good line on that submission prop here. But yeah, I like Jauregui all day here.
All right. Jauregui submission round 2. Okay, for the next fight, we have Manuel Torres versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Carson, who you going with in this matchup?
I'm going with El Loco Manuel Torres. He's just super dangerous. 7 wins by KO, 7 by sub, all in the first round. So if it does get extended, probably lean towards the Bahamondes side there. But I just think Torres is super dangerous, and he'll actually be going for it, going for the finish. Whereas Bahamondes, we don't really see that as much. Ludovic Klein, I mean, that looking back, I think Klein looks a lot better than what we initially thought going into that one. But Klein was able to hurt Bahamondes a ton in that fight, and I think Manuel Torres here will be able to hurt Bahamondes and finish him. Bahamondes never been KO'd before, so 2 sub, but has been submitted 2 times, so... yeah, we'll see. You on
Torres by knockout or Torres by sub?
I lean towards a knockout, but...
Because it's kind of a style.
Right, but yeah, could see it either way. Manuel Torres is 7 KOs, 7 subs, so could be either way.
Yeah, I'm on the Bahamondes side here. It's kind of hard to actually pick a side, but I'm going to go with Bahamondes. I feel like Torres, that lack of ring time, and I know he has big power with the elbow... he got caught by Nicholas Mott a couple times, even in that round before he found that crazy elbow, and got caught by Chris Duncan. And while Bahamondes doesn't bring that same stopping power to do something like that, probably not to flatline Torres, he does just have the ability of, if he gets past round 1, he's going to be like a minus 200 favorite. It gets to round 3, he's like a minus 1,000 favorite probably, unless he's just getting badly hurt in some of those rounds. But... lacking some time, and then also Torres is just very hook heavy, and I think Bahamondes can probably see a lot of that coming in terms of what he struggled with Klein was just straight down the middle speed. So I feel like Bahamondes gonna see a lot more coming in this type of a situation and be the more successful striker. But great matchup. I'll give you this Torres pick. I feel like it's a tough fight to call for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it is a pick 'em, I think, or at least close to it. So, either way, good go.
Yes, sir. All right. Torres KO round 1. Okay, for the next fight, we have Irene Aldana versus Norma Dumont. Going with Norma Dumont here, I feel like Irene Aldana's okay. She's boxing. That's about all she's doing. And I feel like Norma can bring some more elements to the game, maybe better clinching up against the cage, leg kicks at range, which Aldana struggled with a lot versus Carol Rosa. Also a very close fight in that one. And then, the boxing could be pretty close going either way, but I think generally, the younger fighter, Norma, typically puts on very good performances. The only loss previously was Macy Chiasson, which had even some controversy in it because Chiasson did no damage. But I always find myself picking Norma Dumont in a lot of fights, and she pulls through for me. So give me Norma Dumont.
Yeah, Norma Dumont on a 4-fight win streak here. Like you mentioned, that one loss by Macy Chiasson, and for what it's worth, Chiasson was beating Aldana going into that third round until Aldana landed that upkick to the liver. So take that for what it's worth. I think Dumont can work some of her ground game, clinch game, just wear on Irene Aldana here. Leg kicks, like you mentioned as well, too. And, winning is a decision here. Close fight, though.
Yeah, it's one of those that's going to be, probably decent for the crowd because they'll throw a lot of strikes. But not enough actual stopping power in their punches to really finish each other. I mean, Aldana has some decent power, but I just don't really see her getting the knockout here. All right. Dumont by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Ode Osbourne. Carson, what are you thinking here?
What I'm thinking is, how did this fight get on the main card of a pay-per-view? That's what I'm thinking. We got Manuel Torres and Bahamondes on the prelims, but Ode Osbourne on the main card of a pay-per-view. That is something.
Maybe it's because he's Mexican-born, Rodriguez. He actually trains in Mexico. Is that what? I don't know.
I would imagine they're trying to hype him up or get some eyes on him, I suppose. 25 years old for him. Rodriguez, yeah, I mean, I do think he wins. Close fight, though. He doesn't really have any head movement, but in his last fight against Bondar, he got hit pretty clean a few times, but he does have seemingly a granite chin and is able to take those punches, but has a good ground game, good boxing as well, too, striking. So he's well-rounded everywhere, and I do think he'll have enough to finish Ode Osbourne here.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I very much am on the fence in a lot of ways because Ode Osbourne really is a very athletic, talented MMA fighter, missing the fight IQ, missing the chin, and in some close fights, and then as well slowing down with cardio is kind of one of his weaknesses, but also just not giving the most favorable matchups if you really think about it. Fielho, up-and-comer, Almabayev, up-and-comer, dominant grappler, Charles Johnson, a tough fight for most flyweights. Tyson Nam was more of a gimme fight, which he fucked up with that jumping knee. And then Adashev, he got the knockout. But even past that, Manel Kopp, there's some more names. So not getting the easy circuit, but it feels like his chin has just failed more in history. And Rodriguez has that Thai boxing style where, like you said, he doesn't move much. His head stays on the center line. But it's more because he's willing to throw that big punch. He's got dangerous leg kicks as well. Just some good ability to check leg kicks too. So he's got to keep his head off the center line at times. But if he needs the shots, maybe he can just play the 50-50 game and win those battles. Do you see a knockout in this one? How do you see Rodriguez winning?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine Rodriguez winning by finish. I mean, Ode Osbourne's been subbed 4 times and KO'd twice, so he's only lost 1 decision. Ode, that is, but I do like a finish for Rodriguez here.
Yeah, I mean, more the Osbourne just being able to get finished is just a scare. Yeah, not the greatest moments, not the greatest thing you want to see from a flyweight and Ronaldo Rodriguez, at least in my opinion. I'm still going to say a good fighter, very talented. and definitely wouldn't bet on this one is my advice. So, pass.
Yeah.
Rodriguez, KO, round 2. Okay, for the next fight, we have Daniel Zellhuber versus Esteban Ribovics. Great fight, great matchmaking. I'm going to go with Daniel Zellhuber. Big staple is just the grappling here is going to be a big difference maker. Zellhuber's going to have a size advantage, as well as just, this guy is, even though there isn't going to be probably wrestling from Ribovics at all, Zellhuber's got amazing takedown defense. He's got the chin. He's been clipped, but he does have the chin to survive in the times that he's been clipped. It circles the cage really well. And his performance against Francisco Prado was just a masterclass. Beat the fuck out of him. And even to compliment Prado, he just stayed in that fight and was willing to fight. Most guys, I think, would just cower away and let Zellhuber kind of finish the fight at some point by a TKO. But Zellhuber moves his feet pretty well. He can get struck because he may be a little bit slower than these smaller guys, but the reach advantage is a big thing in this fight. So what do you think?
Yeah, Zellhuber is still super young, too, 25 years old. Like you mentioned, the reach, he has an 8-inch reach advantage, too. So I see him using his long weapons, his kicks, his long reach, and then if he wants, get in close and taking down Ribovics. Obviously, we've seen Ribovics doesn't have the greatest takedown defense or ground game, so I think Zellhuber can go to that if he so chooses. But yeah, Zellhuber's been improving every single time he's out there. He had the poor performance against Ogden, but Ogden does that, and that was Zellhuber's UFC debut. So I think that was a good learning experience for him. And after that performance, he's strung off 3 straight wins here. So
yeah,
I've liked what I've seen from him, and I think he continues that win streak here.
Ribovics too, man. I really like him. One of these people. I love watching this dude fight, but it's just not a great matchup for him. Like you said, the takedown defense, the Reds Bob got him down 10 times. Jamela Kirk got the back control on him very easily, and his ability to mount a comeback is possible in a fight like this, so that would be something exciting. But the cardio also looked good on the Zellhuber side, so a lot of hard angles for people when you're fighting Zellhuber. The size, the cardio, the takedown defense, you can't take him down. You got to beat him on the stand-up. That's kind of the way to win. And if he wants to wrestle, well, he has that option. So, any more thoughts?
Yeah, if it stays standing, I think it'll be a really good fight.
Oh, yes, indeed. All right. Zellhuber by decision. Okay, for the next fight, we have Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopes. The rescheduling. Gotta go with Diego Lopes again, as we picked prior. I'm going by a knockout in round 1. As we saw with Dan Ige, I think that, Dan Ige has a really high guard. He protects his face. He's never been finished before. Good chin. He did everything to, prevent Diego to find that big punch. And I feel like Brian Ortega doesn't bring that defense into these types of fights. And this is our explanation last time, pretty much going around, is you just look early on in the Yair Rodriguez fight, and he's getting teed off on. And then also, I feel like Ortega even has the potential to finish Lopes, because Lopes is just such a gunslinger with his punches that he has the opportunity to get clipped as well. Say if they go into a 50-50. Dan Ige never actually initiated a 50-50 punch situation, but if he did, that was his route to finishing Lopes, at least I thought. But what are your thoughts on this fight, again?
Yeah, obviously love Diego Lopes. As we've said on this channel multiple times, he's super entertaining, and I think that continues here. He's going to go balls to wall early on. I think he'll clip Ortega and either find a KO or a submission here. Ortega, like you said, he was clipped early on in that Rodriguez fight in his last one. So, I like Lopes a lot here. Maybe that 15 minutes with Dan Ige was good for him too, getting more experience for longer fights. But yeah, I like Lopes a lot.
Even for a 3-round fight, I thought Diego's cardio is actually pretty impressive for throwing how many strikes he did. every single strike he throws is full power. And, you know, he was tired in round 3, but he still had energy to, like, keep going and all that. So it's not too big of a worry. It's no Derek Brunson situation.
Hey, exactly. And he's huge for the division, too, I might add as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Diego Lopes, KO, round 1. Okay, for the next fight, we have Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. Going Alexa Grasso, but in this type of fight, like, it just feels like talking about it, like you know everything about it, is kind of unimportant because these girls just trade rounds very closely, and that's evident in the last fight and even in the moments in the first fight before the submission. You know, boxing-wise, I think Alexa's got the better hands. Kicking-wise, Valentina's got the better kicks. In terms of throws on the feet, Valentina's got the better throws. And Alexa can end up in bottom position, but then also maybe find out some ways to get to the back off Valentina's airs. So those are kind of the elements of how the fights have been playing out. And I feel like Alexa, I thought she won the last fight just barely. I know one of the judges' scorecards was supposed to go for Shevchenko, and or they kind of messed it up for Shevchenko. They didn't give her. They gave Alexa a 10-8 in one round or some shit, right? It was something fucked up.
Yeah,
but
I think something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think tides are turning. I think Shevchenko at 36 years old too, maybe slowing down a little bit, and Grasso at 31 is hitting her prime right now. I think she's improved a ton in her last few fights, and she's definitely shown that. I think she got better of Shevchenko in good portions of that fight too in that last one. So, yeah, like you broke it down pretty well. I think each of them will have their moments in those categories, but yeah, I think home crowd here as well too. I think that'll help Grasso out a little bit here as well.
Yeah, Valentina getting the bad trade-off on that twice now. So she's done this event like the Noche one last year too.
Yeah.
I don't think she even cares. It doesn't seem like it, but yeah, it seems like the younger fighter has the momentum. She's got a good willpower behind her fighting. She stays in the fight even when she's taken down and held down. She makes Valentina work for it, and yeah, fun fight. I like the damage in the boxing, so give me Grasso by decision. Okay, guys, welcome to the main event prediction. As always, guys, drop a like, subscribe, leave us comments talking shit in the comments, and yeah. Check out the Patreon, as always. Get those bets and that line movement beat super early. And here we are, main event, Sean O'Malley versus Merab. Give me Sean O'Malley. You know, initially looking at this matchup, I felt like Merab, you know, is probably the right move, but I think also everyone thought this when Aljo was facing Sean. And Sean does have like this long frame, which makes it easy for him to kind of frame off of people against the fence. And while Merab will be good at like draining people in that fashion, I think he's just going to be too quick in round 1 for Merab. I mean, the footwork is just going to be levels faster. We all know what Merab does is he shoots at the legs, and someone like Henry was unwilling to commit to like a big strike to, you know, intercept him with that. And Petr Yan as well. I feel like Sean, he's got the limber knees as we saw versus Cheeto, and just the footwork to set up a knockout punch. And Merab, you know, that cardio is something of like godly proportions, but the kryptonite is, you know, like not being as polished with other parts of your game. He's not like a technical striker. He's just gonna run through you type of person. So I think Sean by, honestly, first round knockout.
Yeah, I do like Sean by KO. I'm not a fan of really either of these guys personally, but I do think O'Malley does have a fun style, and I see him winning this fight. I think Merab has been caught twice by left hooks, one by Henry Cejudo in his last one, and then a few fights ago against Marlon Rice, where he was pretty much dead to rights and was eventually able to come back. I think Sean has enough power to KO him. Sean's got feints to make Merab keep guessing. Like you mentioned, his long frame. I think he's got 5 or 6 inches of height here and 4 inches of reach. He uses his reach really well. And Merab is just going to want to be going in there and humping a leg. So he's not doing a ton of damage. He wants to go to decision. I'll be rooting for the guy who wants to finish somebody and make it entertaining.
I also like about this fight is it's a humble pie for whoever wins. Like, Sean could starch Merab, and Merab will be sitting there after the fight, and he'll like look so derpy and out of it. And then if Merab, and then Sean will be like clowning him after the fight, and if Merab does that to Sean, Merab's going to be bringing in that Michael Jackson jacket that he stole from Sean O'Malley, and he's going to be like doing all these Georgian style dances and fucking around, and Sean's going to be like pissed off, So I feel like the scenarios are fun on the rivalry in this type of a fight. The footwork, though, I also feel like a submission is kind of live for Sean O'Malley, just because Merab puts his neck always right in the guillotine territory. He's just willing to put it there, and we've seen him get stuck in them before. And Sean's got long limbs, so those guys with long arms, they can tie up that neck pretty easily sometimes. I could see it being maybe not even exactly a guillotine, but a ninja choke where they get it up in front and he locks his chin down on his hand. But a lot of options in this one.
Sean does have underrated grappling just because his striking's so good. We don't see that grappling as much, but it is decent from when we have seen it. So,
right.
Submission could be possible as well too.
Right. I'm curious how this will play out in terms of how Sean gets started too, because we've seen him before where he throws 2 strikes in round 1, like the Pedro Munoz fight, even in the Aljo fight. And then there's other times where he's throwing 100 strikes in a fight, and I that wavers on the confidence level of how he thinks he's going to get a knockout. And like in a fight like this, it's a little bit scary to go all out on someone in round 1 because Merab is probably like the worst person to have 4 rounds left with because he's just going to exhaust you. But he's also probably the best person to unload all that energy into because you can pretty likely get the knockout at that moment. So tricky.
Yeah, it'll be interested to see if this fight goes into that 3rd, 4th, 5th round. If the tables turn or if Merab's able to just wear him out or what. So, interesting fight. I think initially I was thinking Merab, but going back, watching some tape, I do lean towards Sean O'Malley here.
I'm saying the way the knockout happens is like it's me similar to the Eddie Wineland one where Sean showed uppercut, faked the jab, right hand. I feel like it's going to be something similar to that. I feel like the right hand is what I'm going to watch. I know he's been caught by that left hook, but I feel like the right hand is tricky of O'Malley, so we'll see.
Yeah, he's got it all.
All right. O'Malley KO round 1. Okay, to quickly go over the Burns versus Brady card, 5 total bets came out to 0.68 units positive. That's 2 winning weeks in a row here. So main event over 3.5 rounds. I sniped this at plus 105 there on the Patreon, and it went all the way to minus 180, minus 200. So ton of line movement beaten. I overbet it because I knew it was just a steal of a line. Gilbert Burns is a jiu-jitsu guy, and so was Brady, so hard to finish each other. I also missed this fight, so I can't even comment on a lot of these because I wasn't able to watch them.
Yeah, it was it was a decent fight that had grappling exchanges, but yeah, nothing really close to being any finishing moments. That over 3.5 hit with ease. Yeah, that was a really good bet. I got it a little later than you, like a week later, and it was at minus 160. So
That's not bad.
Yeah, it just shows you get on that Patreon, get those lines early.
I'm shocked they give out some of these lines. Like I went to their things and I'm like, Brady's been to like so many decisions, and so is Gilbert Burns. So anyway, next one, Ramasca and Fletcher under 1.5 rounds. It was just a grappler versus striker matchup, and we picked Nathan Fletcher, got it right, and I just saw so many times Ramasca got taken down, held down, and then I saw that Fletcher just got the arm triangle within a minute and a half of round 2, so that's pretty slick.
Yeah, a little worrisome going into that second round because they were going back and forth grappling a little bit. But yeah, eventually Fletcher was able to find that submission and cash that ticket.
Yes, sir. Next, Kyle Nelson versus Steve Garcia. Went for the big bucks on Kyle Nelson, fell short. The fight didn't play out how I anticipated either. Not saying that's an excuse, like Nelson was going to win if it played out a different way, but I was praying for the 50-50 exchanges in the stand-up because Nelson has big power, and it just went straight to back control off a slip, and then Steve Garcia's brutalness and ground and pound just got Nelson out of there. But I was hoping, just for a stand-up left hand, right hand kind of war, and plus 325 for that type of a battle would have been a great payout, and just fell short. So
yeah, unfortunate the way it played out. Yeah, I wish it would have stayed standing. It wasn't like anything that. I mean, yeah, he obviously had brutal ground and pound, but it felt like I just hate to see it lose.
You don't typically see people get finished when they're sitting on a fence like that. That's why it's weird. Like the elbow that pushed Nelson over, which then started the finishing sequence, was like you just don't typically see it come that way. But maybe it was a heavy ass elbow. I don't know. Andrade, for her to get no takedowns, got that at minus 170. As far as I could see, she attempted 2, didn't land either, so I won. Cool.
Yeah, she was working those in the second and third round. But yeah, Silva obviously just has that great takedown defense. Yeah, love her as well. And she came out on top and looked good doing it again.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most entertaining, skillful women's fighters as well too.
Definitely.
I'll add
future champ.
Yeah, and isn't a lesbian too, which is another bonus.
And then the last bet, I added this one really late too. Matt Schnell and Cody Durden. I had Durden by knockout just because they gave me plus odds because Schnell is just getting flatlined by all these motherfuckers, and I went for it. Durden was swinging for the fences because he thought the same thing I was thinking. He goes, Matt Schnell doesn't have any chin. And he had some big punches on him, but he didn't really have any clean ones, like perfectly clean. And then Schnell just put himself right into a guillotine, and the fight was over. So that was, it's all right to lose that one. I guess the note is, do just Matt Schnell to lose by finish, I guess. So
yeah, They were trading back and forth in that first round. If it was at 125, I wonder if Schnell would have been KO'd.
Yeah, because he is typically like skin and bones at the weigh-in, and it's probably a big reason for him getting knocked out multiple times in a row, other than just skillful fighters hitting him in the face. But yeah, it did seem weird even having to see Durden on short notice at that weight. You could tell he was a little bit chubbier than usual.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's why he was able to withstand those, but I do find it interesting that he was able to withstand a lot of those punches in that first round. In previous fights, he hasn't been able to at 125.
Yeah. Isaac Dolgarian, and he kind of killed a lot of people's bets I saw that looked pretty brutal.
Yep.
Any comments?
just pretty much wanted to control and threw a few punches here and there and then was able to find a submission in the second round. I feel like if he continued going for that arm triangle choke in the first round, he would have got it. He did have it for a little bit and then went away from it. So
yeah,
that under 1.5 killed a lot of people, including my long shots.
Yeah. All right. Well, 8-4 on the picks, and then a little 3 out of 5.
Dylan Budka should not be in the UFC. He got it beat up by Petrosky, just laying on him again. Budka, not UFC caliber. Not sure why he was signed, and this Torrey Finney guy still hasn't been signed. From the Contender Series. Gabriel Santos looked amazing. He looked like minus 1,000 in that fight. He was absolutely dominant. Jacqueline Amorim, she had a good submission. Demopoulos was complaining about her fingers in gloves.
It's kind of what you can get away with, though, in the situation. If you can get away with it, I don't know. It doesn't matter that much. I don't know. It's like, Vanessa, you don't really matter.
Why are you complaining instead of, fighting off the armbar that you're about to get put into? But yeah. Other than that, it was okay card. Trevor Peak, I don't know. I felt like that could have gone either way. I felt like he, was just more controlling and not damaging.
He was, I don't know. That fight was gay.
Maybe I'm just biased and wanted Trevor Peak to win so bad.
They just held, just
probably
hold up against
bit,
the fence.
A little bit of that, yeah.
All right. Well,
winning card, we'll take it.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Peace.
Peace.
I know. It doesn't matter from the trenches. I'm built like this. Don't doubt me, so I couldn't do it. The all said I couldn't do it.